Good evening. Ira Epstein with your Metal Market Wrap-Up, and this wrap-up is for Thursday, the 10th of February, 2022. I see spring down the road here. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but I remember in February it can be 70 in Chicago, so I know it well. It is about 7:20 at night, and what's not too rosy is a lot of red in the stock market behind me. We're looking at metals getting hit, so what's going on? Well, you know you had the CPI number. It was red hot at 7.5%. It was in the range. People had guessed between 7 and 7.6. The median guess was 7.2, but that's still in the range. So what it has set off is Jim Bullard, the St. Louis Fed chair, comes out and very hawkish, extremely so. He would, if he could, have a Fed meeting right now, not wait for March, do a interest rate hike. If you're going to wait for March, he's determined, at least his vote, and he is a voting member, that we should have 3 interest rate hikes between March and July, taking the market up at least a full point. Others will join in that conversation and say to the Fed, shock and awe. What they're not understanding is the Fed has one more set of numbers before the FOMC meeting in March. They get to see it. What if it recedes to 7%? What if it goes anything like that? Well, it'll give Mr. Powell the opportunity to say, let's do a quarter-point hike and see what we've got. Let's assume the opposite. It comes in hotter, 7.7. I think you've actually tied the Fed hand then. They'll probably go to the half point. That'll be the argument. We'll see. It's too soon to tell, but what we can tell is what's the immediate impact on the markets. Well, the immediate impact should be a stronger dollar, weaker commodities priced in dollars, and fear that if the Fed's going to get aggressive like this to fight the inflation, it's going to slow the economy. That's what you have to look at. I spent tonight, the reason I'm at 7:20, I wrote my thoughts tonight on the mistake of this. Now, let me explain it in 1 second. You can raise rates all you want. That won't change the congestion at the U.S. ports. You're not going to change the Canadian border situation where now the auto manufacturers have to slow down because they can't get their parts. You're not going to put more people to work with higher interest rates. That's my argument. That doesn't mean the Fed's mandate isn't to fight inflation, and their main tool is what? Raising of rates. So just want you to know, 2 sides to the argument. When I look at the weekly chart of closes in gold, I mean, the market, even with the setback, it's up 1.64%. That's not bad action at all. When we take a look at where the market's at now in the April gold, we had an outside day up. If you take out the low of an outside day up, you often go to the closest moving average or slow stochastic under it, the keyword closest. There you are with your swing lines. They're to the upside. If you take that out, well, my gosh, you're going to, in order to do that, you're under the 18-day average. You could be opening the door to the 1812 area. That's my point. What about on the upside if you rescue yourself here? All the way up here, 1862. But the market's got to digest now this whopping inflation and what it means if the economies of the world slow down. Does that mean higher interest rates will tame the inflation? Lot to digest here, but I think in the end of the day, barring a strong dollar, I think gold will get through that and still try to work higher. That's my guess. Right now, no. Remember I talked to you earlier that we were approaching some 20-day cycle highs. Wouldn't be surprised that if we start breaking from here, that's what the market did. But we'll talk about that another time. So as I get over to the gold-silver ratio, you would fallen back intra right here on the close today, February 10th, to the 18-day average. Couldn't do anything with it. This is where you're at tonight. So again, we're watching the silver market lose to that. And this big battleground, which looked today like the market might extend even further, has given that up. Now you can see, out of the past 4 days, you've hit the 18 and the 100-day average, and you're sort of stuck without a pattern, too. You have a lower and low, higher high. And that's a pretty broad range. I wanted to see the strong close because that opened the door up for up here, and now you're really getting a problem by taking out today's low. In the copper market, I want to thank a lot of you that came into the live webinar today. It was fun. This is where we were on the close of business on Wednesday. Today's Thursday. And when I looked at it, I told you I think the pros are coming out of the market. If you've taken my enhanced Bollinger Band course, you know why. Today the market tried to come up with it, and now you're falling right back. That's your resistance point. You're overbought. I don't think you want to get too aggressive with the market right at that exact number. I'd wait. In the platinum market, you have a pattern now of higher lows, higher highs. You have an outside day up. You have momentum that's turning down, the bias down. Be careful right here. If you take out the lows of Thursday, today, remember this is Friday's action that I'm pointing at already, that opens the door for 999.60. The risk would be that you'd get back over this high. Now, there's one other thing you have to put into your head and think of the fundamentals. As the Canadian border is closed in many areas for the parts manufacturers in Detroit that make cars, when they have to start idling plants because of this, what don't you need? You don't need a catalytic converter for diesel, and you certainly don't need one for gasoline engine cars. You have enough on hand. You're not using what you've got. You got to lay your plants idle. The supply chain, you know how that works, especially in autos. You get it in as you need it. You're not storing it. It's really a wonder if you see how it works. Well, when it doesn't work, it becomes, instead of a wonder, a blunder. And that's what you're going to have here. And that's why I think you're weighing on the palladium market right now. I think this was all systems go. We were looking good. The economy and COVID getting better. We're getting rid of the mask mandates. And I think this latest part, now I really think that what's hurting this more than inflation is Detroit and the Canadian border issue. And I think as fast as it gets resolved, we'll see this market pick up again. In Bitcoin, the market's been challenging the upper Bollinger Band. I'm ready for it to pull back. Now, this is the February contract. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go to the March. This goes off the board on the 25th. We're only 2 weeks away, so be ready. I'll probably do that over the weekend. In the March dollar index, you've come down, and I've said this is an important moving average number. I said it to you yesterday. Market hit it again today, came roaring back, and now you're stuck between what you should be. The 18-day average of resistance, the 100 of support, the trend is up, the bias is down, and momentum is trying to turn to the upside. If the market can get a close over the 95, 96 level, the bulls will have regained control of the market. In order for the bears to keep control, they got to prevent that from happening. Interesting time in River City, right? Before you leave me, we have redone our mobile app. It's free. And all the information that I put out is in it. So when you get my morning alert, and if you have this, it'll put up the alert that my videos are ready to watch. They're right here. All you got to do is hit them. I made this so I can read it. I have everybody's phone app. Believe me, I have so many of them. It's crazy because we look at them. And then this was designed by the team at QT, looking at many of these, and we'd have meetings and we decide what to do. There's my beautiful subscriber videos, for example. You can watch everything else in them as well. Up to the minute news, but different types. We have the USDA reports in here and our own reports. Audio reports. Remember what I told you? Throughout the day, we're playing them. So you're driving in your car, you can actually talk to ours, just like an Alexa, tell it what to do. It's going to play the quotes. It's going to play the reports. It'll do what you want it to do. How do you get a free trial? And there is no charge for it. All you've got to do is go to our website, mobile apps, the free offers, and away you go. If you have questions, call my staff. They'll have you set up just like that. It's the simplest thing to use, and I think you'll discover. I created it, and the team I had an input. I didn't create it. The team at QT created it. We all had input from Linn and Associates, and they've done a wonderful job. By the way, your stocks, ETFs, They're all in there now. So that wasn't up until this release. Now they're all there. I'm Ira. You have a good day.